Hi everybody, hello, welcome to my channel, the Open Component channel. My name is Andrea and I will be your host today. Please let me know if the audio is okay, because I had some problems with the meeting audio. It's not working today, the audio for the meeting, so I'll not be able to do the meeting as I planned, but I'll continue with the meeting. Continue with the session, the live session, as planned. If the audio is okay, of course. If it's not, please just let me know in the chat, and I will probably have to postpone if that happens, if there are problems, and check my audio. Okay, so yeah, this is a live show, so problems happen. So just let me know, please, and then yeah, I'll continue. So I'll just switch to my PowerPoint as usual and let you know about some news before we start. Here we are. This is the episode. This is the session number 4 of our adventure, our journey. And today there is a lot of stuff to say and show. So I hope you enjoyed. This is going to be long, okay? So it's live. It's supposed to be like this. So let's just start. I will move on with my PowerPoint. Come on. Yeah, here we go. So just to remind you about our mission. Okay, this is a real world application we're building here for a real customer in Brazil. Okay, and we are also teaching people. So we have students and real world software projects. So it looks like it's not real, but yeah, it is. Also, the idea is to share experiences and contribute to a better world and society with technology, which is what we do, technology, right? So yeah, if you like the idea, please consider subscribing. That's the way you help us. If I don't have subscribers, I don't have anything to support the channel other than me, other than myself and my friends. So yeah, also you can contribute with ideas and suggestions. They are always welcome. Okay, let me put myself here so you can see that I am speaking to you like that. And you please share with your friends if you like the idea, and if you don't like, share it also, because your friend may like it. So that's it. Let's see what we're going to talk about today. So I'll give you a brief, very quick retrospective about what we did last time, and then I will announce some changes to the channel. Yes, I changed again. I'm a very dynamic person. And then we are going to do some work, some real work with DevOps, pipelines, builds, Visual Studio solutions and projects. So yeah, and then Azure container, as you see there. Okay, so yeah, previously I will show that the order of the slides is wrong. So this is what I want to say first, the changes to the channel. Okay, so yeah, I decided to listen to myself and to other people about the idea of the open company, and I saw that I was kind of going out of the scope. So I decided to come back and do what I was supposed to do with this, which is everything must be open. So you see there in the PowerPoint, it says live sessions will be what they are supposed to be, And this is true. What I mean by that is that we'll follow the promise. Everything is going to be open and live. So no edited videos. Even if I had some people asking me about editing videos, I don't think that's the purpose. The idea here is to be live, and that I know it's not the format that YouTube usually presents, but that's the way I want it should be. I think that's the way it should be, since I never seen anything like that going on before. So yeah, I'll try that. If that fails, and it will not, then I try something else. Okay, what more? Yeah, it will be longer. So I have booked from my work week. I have a day job here in England, so I have to work in my day job. So I have my spare time to dedicate to the open company until it eventually gets somewhere. But I put 3 to 4 hours of my spare hours per day to really work on the project. So I want to keep that promise and keep it running live for that time. There is no point of me preparing a video like session if it's live. So I will just do my stuff, do my work, and this is live, this is real, so it will get to some points that is really not like any other videos on YouTube. So it's not about entertainment, this thing. It's about sharing real experiences. So you see me struggling, you see me succeeding, you see me scratching my head and trying to understand some things, because many of the tools I chose for my development are new to me. Okay, that's the point. Also, I also want to learn with the process. So that's the idea also. Okay, so yeah, the videos will be longer, and they will just follow the normal progress of the project itself. Okay, what more? Yes, I'll try to do something about that and keep track in my notes about the highlights. So I will set some time in my notepad, and the title of the highlights, let's say how to set up a solution on a Visual Studio and make it work, for instance, and put that later on in the description, so people can easily navigate to certain points of the video with that information. Okay, that's the way I see it. If you know any other ways of doing something similar, please let me know. Okay, yes, another change is this: students and developer positions that I previously put like closed 1 and 1, now it will be only open. I mean all open. So whoever wants to join me in this development, in this process, is welcome. Of course, I will have to just understand what the point of the person coming in is, if the person really wants to help or not. Like just a little moderation, but not I'll not make things difficult. Okay, so I will do that. I leave it open. The project and source code is continuing to be open, so under some open source software licenses rules. Okay, so yeah, so if you join me, I think not today, because today my meeting is not working. I cannot hear you speaking, but you can hear me. But I'll fix that, and for the next session that is going to be tomorrow, you can join me if you want, of course, and contribute and learn, teach, whatever you want to do while I'm working with the real project. Okay, so yeah, leave the comments in the live chat if you are interested in that. If you want to participate, I will share with you the channels you can use to contact me. Okay, please be gentle. Don't come in for trolling. Trolling is not cool in this occasion. I'm a troll myself, but you know, not here. Okay, that's it. Experts are also welcome. So if you know the subject, please just help, contribute if you want. Okay, this is a real project with a real cause, good cause for humanity. So yeah, join me. Okay, and the meeting link for the next session, not this one, will be in the description of the next session. Okay, so moving next. Okay, a little more. So as I said, I chose to use many new technologies to me. Things I'm confident work, but are things I never worked in real projects before. I just worked with them with my own tests, and I liked them. I know that many people also like them, so they are good, but they are going to be new to me. So yes, there will be a lot of things to find out while I do so. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I never worked with Blazor, but the application is gonna be a Microsoft ASP.NET Blazor server-side application. So it's gonna be, I think it's the newest technologies from Microsoft involved. Blazor and .NET Core 3.1 for the API and microservices. So it's gonna be cool in that sense. I never worked with Docker. I have been experimenting this thing. I liked what I saw so far, so I decided to go with it. Cool, so let's see how it works. I never worked with microservices either, so it's going to be the first time also, and it's gonna be cool. And the idea here is learn as I go with you and share this experience with everybody. Okay, let's share this. Remember, important, we are not being paid for the work. I am not getting anything with it, but I'm just sharing my time and my resources also in this and making it free and open. So please be nice, okay, and patient. Things will get better eventually. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Let's move on. Let me see what more I have here. Okay, contributions. If you want to join the meeting and contribute on the fly, let me know. You can work on the code, and I will set up a pull request mechanism for that, just to keep our source code safe. Okay, and yeah, the best way you can contribute with this is by sharing and supporting by subscribing. That's the way the channel grows. You know about that already. I keep saying that, but that's the way it is, right, guys? So yeah, subscribe, whatever the button is, I don't know. Okay, and share with your friends and those in need. Okay, so yeah, this is it. Thank you. Let me move on. I'm done with PowerPoint, and now it's just me and some cool stuff. So retrospective of what we did last time. So let me put some views here, and now we'll just move myself to the little corner here. So let me see. I'll put that on, make it a little smaller. I'll put it here, and that, and make it smaller. like that. Okay, so this is it. I will then remove myself from there, and that's it. Okay, live show, guys. I'm not BBC. I have to do it all manually, so bear with me. So I will also put the sound of the music, the volume of the music a little lower here. Guys, whoever is there listening to me, please just let me know in the chat if the audio is okay. All right? Thank you. All right. So in the last session, what happened was that we did this event storming session. It was a very interesting and long one. It was not easy, but it happened. And we came up in the end of the session after 1.5 hours with this board here. It's a Miro board with our definitions. So the top of the board is one that you're seeing. Let me just grab some tools here. Just a minute. Come on, presentation. Just a minute. Okay, move 1 minute away here. I'll grab an arrow. Here I am. So I hope you see this red arrow. It follows me everywhere. So this session here that you're seeing in the board, right, is the result of the last session. So we did some brain storm, actually event storm into the newsletter functionality. As you can see here, this is just one module of the system, the first one we're going to deliver. And it was interesting. It started very slowly and then suddenly it happened. But we produced only this bit here, this bit here, so the top of the board. The bottom of the board, I did it later offline. It was not online. Now I want to show you the conclusions that I came up with. Okay, so this is the retrospective. So let me just zoom in. Okay, the idea of the event storm on software development is to come up with some results. This artifact here, which is the bottom of the board, as you can see. So it's about coming up with software scopes, isolating these scopes, and understanding, having a clear understanding about the idea. Okay, so yeah, after the session finished, I just came to the board and concluded it, as you can see here. So no one is telling me anything about the audio, so I suppose it's okay. Let me just ask my friends here. Okay, just let me know if it's all right. So sorry, guys. So after that, after this work, I mean, I came up with basically 3 different scopes for the software. One for the client-side application, which is actually Blazor. Then that's the point. I didn't at this point I didn't have an clear idea about which technology I would use. I was considering doing it in Angular. So Angular is a purely JS, actually TypeScript currently framework that you can develop everything with it. So I'm fluent in Angular, so I thought about using it. But I also wanted to try Blazor, and I saw that Blazor server-side is the current officially supported and officially 1.0 or plus version available. Since it's server side, what that means is that the application is rendered in the server side, and then it updates the client side application, I mean the browser, and that makes the structure of the application a little different. Okay, we will cover all these differences as we go. Okay, so the place where I say presentation app that you can see here is not only that, it's not only the client side application, it's a server side also. Okay, and the name that we put to that is this one here. So it's going to be the presentation app, and this is the scope. Let me zoom in. I saw that basically I have two different aggregates. So I have the app manager, which manages the application, what happens in the browser, basically, the application side of it. And I have a message manager, which is the aggregate responsible for messaging and feedback to the user while the user navigates and uses the functionalities of the application. So these two aggregates resulted in all these policies, as you can see here. So not the aggregates, the scope, I mean. So we have all these orange tickets here representing the policies. We have two data read models. Okay, some policies in pink. Okay, and some commands to update. And this is just for the newsletter, okay, functionality so far. More will come as we go. And in this aggregate here, we have a message manager taking care of these two events here. So the orange are events, okay, and there are two events here. There is this policy, which is about the client side messaging, which commands two commands here, the show pop-up warning and show cookies warning. Okay, and the way I did this thing was basically I copied everything from the top of this board here, this one here that is organized in a timeline way. Okay, I copied everything, and then I reorganized. I deleted some items, added some items to make it more more similar to what we are actually to develop in the application. Okay, in the other side, where I called microservices, I have basically two defined scopes here that are going to become our microservices. So my arrow is not actually working. So I have a newsletter microservice. It's going to be a project on its own. So it's going to be a web application, a web API in .NET Core. And I have this other one here, which is the system messaging microservice, which is basically going to be like a shared microservice that will serve other modules and other microservices. It's a nice idea to have that, so we can reuse. And the idea of microservice is also reusability. So for the newsletter microservice, we came up with the newsletter aggregate with these events happening. Okay, these two policies, and so far I think it's going to change a lot yet. Two commands. Okay, and here we have something similar. We have a system messaging with this event happening, and this policy and some commands. Okay, I'm not sure. Sorry, this is not a command. This is an external system. Okay, the color is confusing me. Okay, this yeah, because this system messaging is going to use some services from Azure, for instance the SendGrid, and this is one of them. Okay, so yeah, this is the idea. let's move on. And this is time to actually start working. So we will basically open another window here, which is, let me just close my PowerPoint. Just a minute. And I will open another tab here for you, which is the iJus repository. Actually, the Azure DevOps website currently showing the iJus repository. Okay, so what we're going to do here is basically start setting up the project for the presentation, the Blazor application repository, the public one. Okay, and then we'll do the same, something similar to the web API microservices. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So as I said, this is live. Let's bear with me. It's gonna be fun. Okay, no one is saying anything about the audio, so I suppose it's still okay. Cool. Yeah, here we are. I will move to the overview of the project. All right, so I have this project here, and I have one repository set up so far. And this repository is going to be used as the repository for the newsletter application that actually also the public website that comes with the newsletter functionality. Okay, so the idea that I want to show you now and share with you is the idea of setting up a repository, a new one, just for you to see how it works. Okay, and we'll do that actually by creating a new project. So I'll get back to my root company here, on organization in my Azure DevOps. Okay, and I will just hit new project. Okay, and I'll call it iJus iJus public site. Okay, and I will add the description later. Azure is interesting because I can make the project totally basically free for access, open for access by other people, by just making it public. And that's what I'm going to do now instead. And this way I also can use loads of services for free. If it's private, these services are not free, so I'm going to use the public version of it. Okay, and then I will just hit create in here. Okay, so as you can see, the project is created, and this one also creates a repository for the project. So it's public. I will invite people later, not now. So let's take a look on the repos. Okay, so here they are. I have the links here and everything. I'll add README files later. So this is real, okay, people? So yeah, let's do this. And what I'm going to do now, since this thing is created already, I will open an instance of Visual Studio and connect to this repository. So I'll just hit this button here, copy, okay, and open my Visual Studio Community Edition. So let me grab it. Visual Studio. Here we go. I'll just take a minute. So here we go. I'll put it here for you to see. I'm opening the Visual Studio Community Edition that you can download for free. Okay, and I will just create a new project here. Okay, hit this Create New Project button. And you see I will add a Blazor application that's already here. So if you don't see it here in the side of the view, you just go here to search and type Blazor there. Not like that, but it worked. Okay, I will use C#, all platforms, all types, and Blazor app. Okay, this is the new Microsoft framework for UI applications, for presentation applications. Okay, so it's supposed to work in the presentation layer of your solution. So I'll just hit next. Okay, I'll give it a name. So it is iJus public site. Okay, and I'll choose a destination for this app in my PC. You can put it wherever you want. So let's go to my projects. Okay, I will hit iJus here, repos, and I put a public website here. Sorry, a public repository folder for this particular project. So I'll select the folder and create. Okay, and then comes a key point. Actually, let me open my notepad as promised. This is a highlight. So notepad, and right now we are at, how can I see? Just a minute, I will see what time it is now. So this stream has been running for 41 minutes already, and the first highlight around 41 minutes. Okay, and it is about Blazor hosting modes. So, as I said, this is a highlight, and it's important to notice that there are two different ways of hosting a Blazor application. The first one here, as you can see, is a Blazor server app, meaning that the application, the content that you see in your browser is rendered in the server and updated through some sockets and SignalR messages, so in the background. So it is a server application that renders the views in a nice way that we'll see how. Okay, that's the way it works. There's another one, which is the Blazor WebAssembly, which is a very cool concept. I recommend you to take a look on WebAssemblies. I'm not sure if this host is already supported as official. I think it's about to become official. I have to check on that. But I know that the server app is official. It's there already. So I will use that for our project. And there are other reasons also that I want to use that. I want to make sure that some things are in place, and I know that they are in place with the server app. Note that the version of the .NET Core I'm using here is 3.1. If you don't have that, you have to step back and install the latest framework using Microsoft there on Microsoft site. I mean, it's easy. Google it, install your .NET Core 3.1 or the latest ones. Okay, if there's something newer than that, and that's it. Be aware of that. I will also hit another thing that is very important here. I mean, select, which is this one here. I said that I will use Docker and I will be creating microservices in future. So the applications I'm going to work with will have Docker enabled. Okay, and that of course requires that you have Docker installed in your machine. It's also an easy download. There is also instructions here. You just hit this link here and you will be able to install Docker in your machine. Docker comes basically with two different hosting types internally. One is running on Linux, Ubuntu Linux, and the other one is running on Windows. For the purpose of saving money and making things more common and also more spread around the world, I will use Linux. Incredible. Me, a Windows guy using Linux. So yeah, this is happening. So take care about it. I will also enable the HTTPS functionality, which is by default enabled. Okay, and enable Docker. Choose Linux and hit create. Okay, when I do that, let me go back to Visual Studio and put it here for you. Yeah, here we are. Visual Studio is open now, and I must have a project there, which is this little beautiful nice project here. Let me see if I have some other tools here to help me. Yeah, I still have to learn how to use this thing. It's a cool thing, which is, for instance, I have zoom in and zoom out. Let me try to that. Okay, let me see what I have here. I don't think this is working fine. No, it's not working. It's not that I want. I want zoom. Okay, I think I know. Okay, forget about zoom. I don't know how it is. I have to learn how to use this presentation tool here. So I hope you can see it there. There is a project open here. Okay, and the project takes the name that we just set while creating it. And this is a Blazor application. What I will do now, I will just hit F5 or hit play. Another thing that is very interesting here is this. It's a Docker application, so it runs, there's another runner here in your Visual Studio, which is the Docker support when Docker is installed. So we still have iIS, but Docker is also here, so that's cool. What happens is that when I hit play, Visual Studio creates an image, uploads the image to the Docker, and Docker comes up with the website running. So let me show you. I'll hit F5. Docker is at this point asking for some permissions. I would just hit share it. You cannot see that now, but it will ask me many times. Just click share it. Okay, and eventually it will work. So what happens is that if everything goes right, this nice little application here, which is a Blazor application, comes up. It's a hello world application. You can use it. It's a real application, so you can just navigate and see how it works. You see there is a counter here. It's the basic Microsoft stuff, and there is some cool fetch data that populates this grid. You will also notice that the application runs in a very fast way. It's faster than these JS frameworks. Okay, so I will just close this thing up. It's running on Docker. I don't have the Docker window open here, but that's irrelevant right now. So I'll just open it here. Sorry, close this here and hit stop. So we just saw that creating a Blazor application using the latest versions is very easy, very straightforward. I will just show you some other important details about the application. So I'll put this fix here and show you some interesting things here. This is very important, this file here. Since we are giving support to Docker, it creates that file. Okay, so I'll open that file, and this is a script language that just sets some stuff and executes some commands in the Azure pipeline, as we can see later soon in this session. I will show that working for you. So this is where we set what's going to be used to create our image and upload to Docker and install it and run it. Okay. You can also add this Docker file manually if you have an existing application and you want to add support to Docker. You can just hit the right click here, okay, and go to add, and there is Docker support. Okay, nice little thing, and your application is Docker enabled, which is very cool. Okay, so I will leave this Visual Studio. Actually, no, I will continue working on it and use our connect this solution to our source control and to our repository that we created on Azure. So to do that, I will go here, right-click the solution. Sorry, not the solution. I will right-click that, and you see here there is source control. Okay, it looks like it's already controlled because I put it in a special folder already. So I would just, if it was not, it would say add to source control, but it's already there. So what I will do now, I will move to Solution Explorer instead. So View, Solution, sorry, Team Explorer, Team Explorer, here it is. All right, so I have changes here. Okay, here they are. And the idea is to connect this thing to the repository I want now. So I will just hit sync in here. Okay, let me just make sure that I am doing the sync to the right repository. I think I'm not, because I see that I see iJus here in the repository. So I will change that actually. So I'll go back to my thing here. I hit that button and manage connections, connect to a project. Okay, this little pop-up comes in, and I will choose which project and subsequently the repository I want to connect to. So what Visual Studio is now doing is basically opening my subscriptions here. Okay, so I will choose that project we created on DevOps, which is this one here, iJus public website. Okay, and I will hit connect. Okay, as soon as I do that, this little panel comes up. So here I have the option to set where the repository will live in my computer locally, I mean. So I think I will just hit this button here and go to my PC, go there to my folder, projects, iJus, I'm not sure if I will be able to use that folder I previously created. Okay, I think I will not be able to do that, but let's see. So I'll hit OK here. Yeah, so far so good. If that fails, we'll see. And then I'll just hit clone. As I suspected, it's not going to work. So I think I have to basically disconnect the current connection I have to that folder. I'll do something different instead. I don't know how to do that, so if you know, just comment. So what I will do actually, I will choose another folder to make things quicker. I'll go to my projects and I will create another folder here and I'll call it iJus public and use that instead. That is empty, so there are no Git connections to that. So I'll just clone using that folder instead. And I think this time it's gonna accept it. Yeah, it did. Okay, so I will just go back to my solution now and recreate the project using this folder instead. So the way I do that, I will go back to my file here and add new project. Okay, so I'll hit Blazor again, choose the same settings as before. I'll call it iJus public. Okay, and you see now it's already selecting the folder that I created now. So basically what I should have done was the inverted sequence, the opposite sequence. So we start with Visual Studio and then associate the project. So I will create same little windows, server, Blazor application, everything is right here, and create. Good, so now I have my project. So if I go here, I think I can just switch views and open the solution instead. Switch views above, in between, so interesting. So I'll open Windows from here. Open in Explorer. I said it's live, so they're struggling. Okay, I'll close Visual Studio and see what happens if I just open this solution instead. So I'll right click, open with, and Visual Studio 2019. I hope it's the right one. Just a minute to see which version is that, because I have multiple versions of Visual Studio in my machine. Oh, it selected the enterprise, so close that. I will just open my Visual Studio manually and navigate to the folder. Open a local folder, open a project solution, that's the one. So I'll go to that, projects, iJus public, again, and open the Solution. Well, the solutions are here interesting. Okay, so I think it created a solution now. And I have the project. I will just hit Docker execute here and see if everything is alright before pushing the code to Azure DevOps. I'll give the same old permissions here that you're not seeing. Share it. And I guess it's working because I just see what I saw before, which is this, the little application running and working, as you can see. So now it's time for another highlight, which is how to push these changes to Azure DevOps. So let's move on to that notepad of mine, and I will add, and now we are at 59. So around 59 I have push code to DevOps. Okay, so DevOps, you see the source control is telling that all these items are new. So what I'm going to do now is just go to my Team Explorer view. Let me just move myself around here because it's in front of my visible screen, visible area. So there is this Team Explorer here. I will hit that. Okay, you see that there are changes here. So before pushing and syncing, I will move to DevOps to show you something. At this moment, the repo, if I hit repo and files, you see that I have nothing there. Yeah, it's basically empty. No files, no commits to see. There is nothing. Just the default page is here, nothing happens. Okay, as you can see. Let's change that by pushing some code to DevOps. And just a little word about what I'm doing for those who are just starting. There are ways of protecting the versions of the code you produce, and this is called versioning. So there are many sorts of tools that serve as source control, okay? And we're using the default source control on Azure for this purpose. And the purpose of controlling your source is to have a clear and easy mechanism to share your changes over time without compromising and corrupting your code. So you share with other developers without that, and you have a protected source place for your source code that is always there with a tag for versions, so you can get a specific version over time. You can control changes to it and things like that. I'm not a specialist in source control, but basically what I use it for is this: keeping my source safe, controlled, protected, and with a history that I can follow over time of what happened in my project. What I'm doing now is that. So I have a lot of stuff to push. There are ways of controlling what goes to the source control. Okay, I'm not covered that now. But there is a good practice that is just here that I want to reinforce in your mind, which is this: every time you push some code, you have to tell something about what you're pushing so other developers can take a look on it and see and understand what's going on with your code. And that's is a practice that I love to follow, so I will just tell people what I'm doing. So I'm basically pushing the first initial actually, the initial version of the public website. I can complete with a longer description, but just for the sake of time, I'll just keep it simple and commit. When I commit, I'm not using a centralized source control system. I'm using Git, and Git is distributed. So when I commit my changes, I'm committing locally. Then I have to sync the changes to the server. I will do that. So I will first commit locally, and you see some messages going on here. Yeah, you see it has an ID, so it worked. You see the changes are gone. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to sync with my remote repository, which is on Azure DevOps. So I will hit sync. Okay, and you see that there is this interesting, when I hit sync, I see both ways. I see what is coming to me from the repository. So whatever new changes that I don't have locally that were created by my developers will be in this first list here, the incoming commits. And all my changes are in the outcome commits. So I will just hit that. Okay, sorry, I'll not hit anything here. I will just push, because since I don't have any incomings, I just have to push mine. So I'll hit push, and you see the magic working. So it's sending to the remote, and it's successfully sent. So if I go back to Azure DevOps and refresh this page here, I'll see some stuff. Now I have all my stuff there. You see, this is quite nice actually. Okay, my files are here. Okay, so that's it. This is one of the highlights. Yeah, let's move on. So the next step is now setting up a build. What a build is? Well, in basic terms, is some sort of process that will run either triggered by a user or automatically, even scheduled if you want, that will take all this source code, compile it, build it into the actual program, and if we want, it will deploy to some place. Okay, so the process I'm going to cover now is about creating a pipeline for the build on Azure DevOps. So it's very straightforward to do that. There are some details that you see failing, and then we'll fix together, which are about some differences between the template that we are using to the actual way the DevOps expect it to be, so it works. They are not working, so we'll make it work later after seeing it fail. So to create a build pipeline, to create a build and add that build to your build pipeline, which is here, you see pipelines, it's easy, very easy. I just go to my repos. You see there is this button here, the arrow is already pointing to it. So there is this little button here, set up a build. If I hit that button, what happens is that Azure will automatically add a pipeline for me for the build. So let's see that happening. Okay, so I'll set up a build. And you see that there are some settings to do here. And then this will link to another thing we have to do first, which is having some stuff ready to use on Azure. Okay, and I will show that how to create that. So yeah, we are using Docker, right? And I said that I want to use Docker on Azure, and Azure has a very nice little service to provide you about Docker. Actually, many, but the one I like, the one I know how to use currently, is this one here. So grab my arrow here, is this one here. Okay. Yeah, it's an Azure Container Registry. That's the one I'm going to use, and I'll show you how to create that and use now. So one more highlight. Currently we are 1 hour 8 minutes already. So let me put that highlight there. Around 1:08, I start talking about Azure Container Registry. Cool. So back there, I'll hit this link here, and let's see what happens. Let me move myself around again. Oops, not that, not that. Where is it? Here. Here we go. Okay, what happens now is that this panel will make me select, ask me about my subscription. You see, I'm using my own subscription here, so yeah, you're seeing my IDs there. So what about security, right? Okay, so you never see my login. Basically, this view here is about my login, so I will move that around. Proceed. Choose my account. It's not that one. Sorry. That one. And go. So now I must have that selected already. Cool. After my login, I was presented with this Docker thing here. I already have a Docker registry there, but I will not use that. That is for my test purposes. I will teach you how to create your own Docker on Azure now. So I will move to another view here, which is my Azure account here. So now I'm on Azure. You see Azure portal.azure. In this place, I basically have many possibilities. What I'm going to do now is to create a Docker registry. So in the search button field here, I'll type a registry, and you see there is this container registries here, okay, or container registry in here. Okay, I'll select that one. It's the same thing, and then this view let me create the registry. A container registry, for those who are starting just like me with Docker, is a place where your images, basically the stuff you want to publish, like applications and other stuff, will reside. It's like a port container, like for ships and things like that. It's a big box with stuff inside. So very very badly explained what a Docker is. So if you have things to share about it, just leave your comment there or coming to help me. So basically it's a place where I put my images, and in this case my images will contain my application, okay, and my application will reside in that image that resides in that Docker. So the way Azure works about it, it asks me to create this select or create the resource group. A resource group on Azure is basically a place, an organization that agglomerates some resources. It's a way of categorizing and putting things together, basically, and have control over those resources in a group way. Okay, So I have some here already. Okay, I will use the same. I will not create a new one. I will use iJus. There is no need for creating a new one. Okay, and at this time I will enter the registry name. So basically I'm naming the container registry on Azure. So I will use the same name. I just instead of being public private, this time I will put public. And in this container I will have all my images for all my microservices installed. Okay, so my customer is currently in Brazil, so it makes sense to put my container near them, so near their public, the public that is going to use the application. So yes, I will do that. It's in Brazil already. So since it's development, I don't want to pay a lot of money to Microsoft, so I'll choose basic as the plan here. So it's almost free. Okay. Yes, in this view I'm good to go. So I'll just hit next. There is nothing to set here. Another important thing to say about this, you see that I chose to use, in the previous step, I chose to use Linux as the Docker container. And that is also cool because Linux containers are the only ones that I can use a basic plan in Brazil or in other regions of the world. The Windows ones are not available in these regions. I don't know why yet. So yes, I would just one more thing to understand about that. So choose wisely when you're doing this, okay? So I'll hit network here. There is nothing to set here because it says so. Okay. Next, there is nothing to set about encryption at this time. I'll not control any of my tags, and we'll see what a tag is later, not now. Okay, I'll just review and create. Okay, if everything is right, Azure will just create a new container for you. So I will just do that. And since this thing is live, guys, well, it will take the time it takes. That's the purpose. All right, sorry. And it's quick, don't worry about that. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to show you, there is no way I can step forward, sorry, fast forward the live video, so sorry. You see, it was quick. It says the deployment is complete and I can go to the resource. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'll go to the resource. Yeah, the pop-up disappeared. So I'll just, let me see what happens here. Yeah, I'll click that one. This is the resource. Okay. Let me zoom in a little here so I can see it better on YouTube. Okay, so here is my resource. It's a new container. There is nothing inside of it. There is a very important step that must be done here in these access keys here. Okay, I will not do that live, so I'll move my window away now. Okay, do that. But basically what must be done in this little thing here is to enable. There is a switch there called admin user. You have to enable that admin user so my pipeline will be able to access it. So I'll just hit enable. And I'm not showing that to you because it's going to create 2 passwords for me. Okay, so I will, yeah, it's created. I'll move back to my resource so you cannot see my password. There I am. It's created and it's set. So for this point in our session, there's nothing more to say about it. Okay, I'll get back to Azure DevOps, which is somewhere in here. Yeah, it's here. So now that I have a registry, I can just come here. I think I have to refresh so the new registry appears here. So I will refresh this view. I will choose Docker again. It reloads. I'll do that again and continue. Yeah. Passwords again. Done. Now I should be able to see my new container registry here. And it's here, you see, it's iJus public. Cool. That's a nice one. So I can name the image that is going to be added to the container the way I want, but to keep consistency, I will leave the same name as the application. Okay, so I will just validate and configure. And that starts a pipeline. You see, I'm configuring a pipeline, and you see here it's saying that it's creating a YAML file. YAML, which is the way people say this name here, YAML. It's a new language. It's a script language that allows you to, let me move myself around again. Here we go. So it's this little nice language that does some stuff for you. Okay, so at this point in time of the creation, you have the opportunity to edit this file. And you see, it's actually working fine because it got the right values already. Almost. You see failing, but there are important points to talk about here. First is this little session here. You see, it's saying that my Docker file is this one here. This Docker file is this one here. Remember, in our Visual Studio, if I go to my Solution Explorer, you see this file here? Yeah, this is the Docker file that it's referring there. So in here I have a Docker file also. Okay. Sorry, not also. I have oh my God, the word in English, a reference. The reference to my Docker file is here. Okay. The build of the tag, sorry, the tag of the build, I mean, the site, a public website as the image repository, okay, the container registry and things like that. So down here I have my stages and jobs and steps. Okay, basically what this thing is doing, it's gonna call the instruction of my Docker file and execute that. Okay, I can just hit save and run, and I think you're gonna see it failing. Let me see. So I'll hit save and run. This triggers a commit to my source code because I'm creating this file, this YAML file. So I'll save and run. Yeah, there is a build going on here. I will open this and you see the command line like application that they put here for you with the steps being executed. Okay, so all the steps being here. So download the creation push of the image, and then it tries to build it. And I think that one is gonna fail. Not sure yet, let's see. I'll be surprised if it works. Yeah, as I expected, it failed. Let's see what happened there. But before that, one important thing is this. You see, it's just a script. It works as expected, except for the failure. But you can see what failed by just clicking there and seeing. Let me move myself away for a minute. There we go. You see it's failing because there is no such file as expected here. So it didn't find our file. So basically the copy of the files failed. And I thank a lot to my friend Robert that helped me to fix that and understanding how Docker works in that sense. So basically what's happening here is that there's nothing copied. It didn't find anything. So let's try to fix that. Okay. I'll get back to my pipelines here. Here's the failed build. All right, I'm gonna put myself back. And then we go to repos. And you see, let's work on this thing first. Okay. I'll not change this right now. I'll just first change my Docker file in my Visual Studio solution. And then we come back here. But just for the sake of peace of mind, I'll get to my folder, iJus public, and see if my Docker file is there. And if I see it here, yeah, it's here, you see? So my Docker file was uploaded. So it's not a problem of finding the Docker file. It's a problem of finding something that the Docker file is referring to. So these lines around here, they are wrong. Okay, I could just fix it here, and I will do basically what I will do. I will edit this file. Okay, and you see there is this copy dot in here. Let me try to zoom in here. And it's not zooming, I don't know why. Oops. Come on, mouse, just zoom in. Thank you. It's not working. Well, forget about it. So basically what's happening here is that I have to edit that little dot over there, you see? And instead of writing a dot, I will write the right path here. So I will put iJus public. And this is important. It's followed by a dot after that. Okay? So I hope this is right. If it fails, we come back and fix it again. So yeah, let's try to see if it works. I will commit the changes, and after doing that, the build is triggered again. So let's commit and commit. Okay, and see our build here in the pipeline. So it's running again. Let's go there and see the build. So it's starting. Now I think it should be able to find the files. Let's see how it goes. It failed, so let me see the reason now. Let me remove myself from here. again, the file is wrong, so I think I'm missing one more information, which is, let me go back there, sorry, it's this tab here, repos and files, let's go back there. And now I think I have to just add another missing stuff here, which is my context, my build context. Let me, just a minute. Yeah. So it's this little line I'm going to copy here. And just after the Docker file, I add, so sorry, I have to hit edit. And after that, I go there. And now the build context and the build.source directory, which in our case is correct, I believe. Yeah, it is correct. So let's commit that and see what happens. If that fails, I will not keep trying this. I will move on and fix that later. So go to pipelines. Build. Go there. Let's see. Yeah, it failed, so let's not waste our time with that. I will come with the solution in the next session. But just to let you know, let me see if anyone is contributing here. No, no one is contributing. So yeah, I'm sure, one thing I know for sure, that's a path problem in my Docker file. So I'll not waste your time with that now. I'll just move on to the next step, which is after this is working, I'll have a Docker with my image there on Azure, okay, and I can just publish that Docker, which actually I will do that tomorrow, not today. So what I'm going to do now is move into Visual Studio and do some work on our solution, okay? So go back there. And if you saw what I did wrong in my editing, so just drop a comment there and we can fix that together. Okay, so yeah, now the highlights. We are 2 hours and 8 minutes already. Wow, that was long. Time goes fast. So let me go back to my notes. 2 hours. I will start with my work on the solution, the Blazor solution. So here we are. So instead of, in terms of architecture, this is going to be a standalone application that represents the presentation layer of our application. It's a Blazor application, as I told you, and there is some work to do here. Basically because the customer wants a newsletter to be in place and some basic website, public website content in it. And as you saw, when I run this application, what happens is that it shows the standard Visual Studio template, and we don't like that. That's not what the user wants. Okay, so yeah, what I'm going to do, yeah, instead of having this, I will basically add the basic template that the user wants. Okay, I already have some stuff here. I will use that stuff and publish to our source control later. Okay, so I will just stop running this one here and go back to Visual Studio and add some projects to it first. Okay, so this is a Blazor application. There are some points, important points about the Blazor application. As I said, it's rendered on the server side, so and uses SignalR to do the UI updates using sockets. So yeah, let's add some stuff to this and show you some content also. So if you take a look in here, you see that in this application we have a pages folder with all the Razor files and the CS HTML file, which is the main structure of the application. Okay, and there are some things to notice here. So for instance, the way it works is, let me open the host file for you to see. Here you go. This is the main HTML page, let's say that. Okay, it's CS HTML, which means it's HTML file with C# code behind. Okay, and it has some important bits here. Okay, the important bit I want to show you now is this bit here. This is the output where Blazor will render the rest of the application, the components that compose the application. So you see it has this app tag here, okay, which is basically this app Razor here in the solution. Okay, and it says that it's pre-rendered in the server. Okay, and the type is the class that is created when I created this file, when the template created this file here. Okay, so now I'll open the app and you see some new stuff. You see there is this router tag here that is rendered into other things. So it renders into found, so it puts a view here, which renders the main layout, which is the index page, right? Sorry, is the main layout Razor file that is here. And if nothing is to render, it just renders a sorry, there is nothing in this address. We'll cover that with details later as we go. The way render works is nice because it puts all the little stuff into the separate pages that are called components and render them together to compose a bigger page. So let's open then the next one, which is this main layout class here, which is here, you see? And here you go. Here you see that there is this at body, okay, where the application renders the body of the pages, the components that it references to the body of the application. So yeah, basically what you're seeing here is a side bar saying about, okay, and the body class. No, not that one. Sorry, that's a link in the top. Yeah, top row, a link, and then the main body. If you open that, you see that it resides in here in the index. Okay, so that's the main body. Okay, and that's what we're going to change. We don't want a hello world, and we don't want that side navigation, which is basically here in the main layout, which is the sidebar here. So we don't want that layout. What I'm going to do now is bring up a template that we're going to use and change this application so it shows that template instead. Okay, so I'll bring my code here. I have some stuff already here. So in my E drive in software, sorry, resources, UI templates, I have this Inspinia, which is the thing we're going to use. Okay, and there is a landing page code here. I will just do this. I will grab all this stuff. Okay. Actually, what I will do, I will right click this stuff here, this index page, and I'll open in Visual Studio Code. So open with Visual Studio Code so we can see the code. And now here it is. That's what we want. There are some steps here to understand. This is just a basic HTML file that composes a very nice template that we're going to use. Okay, what we need from this is basically everything. So, but first I will create some sections here. I will separate the head in a visual way here. Okay, and the body, which is here. Okay, and make it very clear. So the content of the body, I'll grab it all. So let me hit enter here. So I will do a page down here. I'll grab all that stuff. Okay, until here. I'll get a very nice Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V technique from my toolbox. I'll go back there to this place, actually to the index where I want the thing to appear, and I will remove this content from here to here, and I will let the page, by the way, this @page/ here is the way, it's a very nice way, it's the way the Blazor application uses for routing. It's much easier than Angular, for instance. It's very clear what's happening. So what's happening. So I will just paste that index code here. Okay, now I have some stuff to do. There's some errors here, I believe. What is this? Unclosed. So I think I took the wrong content. Yes, I did. So let me complete here with section, Ctrl+C. Yeah, I could just complete the thing, right? But I'm stupid. No, I'm not stupid. I'm a genius. So now it's okay, no errors. So I have this content here. I will just show you what happens if I just run my application now the way it is. So let's run this thing. And it's gonna be very messy. So bear with me. Ooh, here we are. So now this is happening. You see, all the hello world was like replaced by this layout, which is the layout we are going to modify for the customer. Then later I will show you what the customer wants for this page. But there is more to do here. You see, this sidebar that we find here is not welcome anymore. I don't want that anymore. Okay, this must be removed. And that's what we're going to do now. So I'll get back to Visual Studio. So remember, in the main layout, we have this little section here. So I'll stop this thing, and I will just do that, which is I will delete this thing. Okay, and run again. Cool, now I have something similar to what I need already. It's still not quite there, but it's getting there. So here's the layout. There are some stuff missing. So remember the folder. Yeah, I'll go back to the folder. I will Ctrl+C this stuff here. Ctrl+C. Then I'll go back to Visual Studio, and you see this www root here. We have the CSS and some stuff there already. I will right click this thing and open in File Explorer so I can see where they are. And of course, I will just get rid of all this stuff here. So delete, yes, and Control V. Yay, I like that. So close that, and then I'll just refresh the stuff here. Let me, where's the refresh button? Refresh button. Okay, let me see. No refresh. Okay, forget about the refresh. I don't see the refresh. I don't know what's happening. Sorry, guys. Whatever. I know that the content is here. So, oh yeah, it's here. Yeah, they're all here. Don't need to refresh, guys. Forget. How do they say here in English? Forgive my French. So yeah, and now I have all the content that I want here. So let's do some modifications now. I'll get back to Visual Studio Code. You see, there is more to come. First, I'll grab these scripts here. Control C in that, okay? And I'll get back to my Visual Studio and open the host, which is the main HTML page of the whole thing. And wherever I see scripts being used, I will put that. So at the bottom, as the good practices say, I have to put my scripts here, and I'll put them before the main JS script, which is the Blazor server JS. By the way, this JS is very important. It's the way Blazor communicates with the server, okay, and renders the application in the client side. So leave it there, never remove that, okay, and paste it there. So now we have our JS in use, okay. I'll get back to Visual Studio Code. Right to the top, so let's move quickly. There is this entire session in the head here, which is this one. Okay, Control C in that one. Okay, I'll go to the head section of my main component here, and replace everything with that. Okay, so now I have that. I will stop and save everything and run again. Oops, what's happening? Function. I was not expecting that. Function not implemented. What is happening? This is new. View details. Let me see what's happening. Which function is not? Oh, that's not good. So what did I do wrong? So let's close that. You see, this is a live show. That's what happens when you don't know how to do that. Okay, so it's not anything around here. Back to the other file. So what did I do wrong? This is interesting. I will just, for the sake of this session, I don't think that's the problem though. No, it's not a problem. What did I do wrong? Let me put that back. Okay, so the thing is here. Any problems with my... So let me get back to where I was before. So there, I think this was working fine, right? So let's see what I did wrong. Oh, that failed. Oh, that was not expected to happen. So I will just undo this to see if the problem is here. You see how I suffer? It's still not working, so function not implemented. Interesting. What I will do then is check my host file. So I have that. Oh, I see something wrong in here. So I have this Blazor server in here and the host, and I see that I also have that in my main layout. No, so it's in index. Now the index is okay. So what's wrong here is there is main layout, which is okay. I have done the host session in here. It's all good. So you know what? I will just undo this thing and restart. So source control, undo everything. So yes, undo. And then I will just run to see if something is broken that was not caused by me. And it is. That's curious. Okay. That's interesting. Come on, Andre, what's happening? So, you see guys, I changed all back to the original state. So, it was working before. Well, this is not a good sign though. And now it's not working anymore. So let me see if I have to do something else with this. So run again. No, it's not working. Let me try to run on iIS instead. So directly. Okay, so it's clearly something about Docker, because if I run directly, it just runs. Okay, so I'll keep it like that right now so we can see the results that I want to accomplish, and then I fix Docker, and then in the next session we continue with Docker. So it's running, so I'll just do everything again. I should have tried that before. So what I will do here now is go back to my how do I say, host, okay, application, and again copy the files around. So in my index file, first index not host, yeah, in here. I'll grab the content from my page. From here to the bottom. Page down, page down, page down, go ahead. Yeah, there we are. With the session this time. Ctrl C, Alt Tab, and replace this thing with that. Ctrl V, that. Okay, cool. So that works. Let's just check if it works. And yes, it's working. So stop that. Cool. Now let's fix our host. So in here I'll grab the header session. Here we go. Grab all this stuff here. Ctrl C. Replace that stuff with that. I mean. Okay. Then I will copy the scripts. So go down the way again. Come on, here. Get that. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and put this thing in here. So we have the main host file done. So let's just move to our main layout page now. And in here, I will remove the sidebar. Save it all again. Okay, yeah, cool. Nice. So let's test this to see if we accomplish the work. Okay, so it looks like we have some path problems. Look the way it is now. It's really not working. If I hit F12 here to see the developer tools, I'll probably see a lot of resources missing. So here we are. We have a lot of resources missing. Yeah, and I know what's happening because when I did the undo, I also did undo to the files I put in the folder. So I'll just copy the files again. Okay, and get back to this view here. So I can do that by stopping this thing. I don't need to stop actually because these are just files, but no, I have to do that because it's Blazor. And I will stop the server. And I will go back to my folder. Yeah, open folder in File Explorer. Interesting, this thing is still there. So I will just delete these folders. Yes. I'll go to my template folder instead. I'll grab the stuff here again. So in here, I'll do that. Ctrl C. Go back there and Ctrl V. I think this time is gonna work. Let's see. So yeah, let me see if it's there. Yeah, the content is there. So hit the play. Not yet. So this is interesting. So I'll do Ctrl F5. It's not a cache problem. So let's see what's happening. What is missing? So save all. Let's go back. Index is right. So everything here is right. So those files are referenced in this thing here. So if this is not found, nothing will. So let me just see if I have everything. I think the CSS file is missing. You see, I have a reference to the CSS file, but the CSS file is not here because I did it wrong. You see, CSS. I think that's not the purpose. So I'll move to my folder in www root in here, and I will, let me delete this, Control X in this stuff, Control X in this stuff here, and just move the contents like that. Then I'll go back to my landing page thing. And I have this style there. Yeah, CSS style. So let's see what happens now. It looks like now it's correct. Let's see. And yeah, it is correct. So we are almost there, you see? Here we are with the layout. It's kind of messy because some stuff still are not in the right place. So yeah, we have something almost. Cool, so let's go back there and stop the application and fix that. So I saw in my Visual Studio Code that the body class of the application, of the HTML, here we go, top, the body element, I mean. In here, you see it uses this ID and the class, and of course that is important for our style. So I'll copy that and I'll move to where my body is currently, and I'll put that in there and see what happens. And as I expected, things are a little better now. Okay, so now we have at least some visuals. Okay, but there is still something wrong about this guy here. This is not quite right. So let's go back to our templates, and wherever this thing is showing hello world, I think it's in the top. Yeah, and here it is. Page system, blah, blah, blah. I will remove that. That's not right. Save all. Stop and restart. Okay, there is one more thing, I believe. Let me show you the results. Here we are, almost there. Cool. So there is one more little thing which is bothering me here, which is this about thing. And I know where this thing is, so let's go there. Let me see its main layout. Here we go. You see this guy here? It's not necessary. So remove that. Cool. Do that and do this. And now I think we did it. Here we go. So we have a template installed, and I want to say thanks to Web Players and the Inspinia team for providing this template. this template is going to be used. And of course, it's not, guys, it's not a free template. It costs some money. And if you want to use it in our application, you have to pay for this template, okay? I will make this available with certain limits. So be cool, and if you want it, if you like it, buy it. All right. Here we go. Here is a template. It's a quite nice one. And of course, we have to modify this template to fit the purpose of the application, which is having the proper text and layout, colors, and the newsletter. So just to finish the session, I will just show you a quick screen here. I'll get back to my DevOps. It's not here. Where is my DevOps? Okay, I will just open a DevOps. So Andre Pires, oops, visualstudio.com. Now I have to select the iJus public site. Sorry, it's the other one where my requirements are. It's this one here, iJus. So I have my boards here and work items, and I will show you what's gonna be the subject of the next session. So there is this I think this is the one, new template newsletter. The customer added for us, and there are some images here. So basically what the customer wants is this one here. We have to modify that template that I just installed to be something like that. I'm trying to zoom in, but I'm having a hard time with zooming. I don't know what's happening. So this is the layout. It's there for my team. It's another set of colors, and it's similar in a sense that it has this top bottom strip, right? All the way down to our newsletters component that we're going to build. So the next session will be about transforming this, okay, tweaking this thing into that. All right, guys. So yeah, I will just complete the session by stopping this and pushing the code to our public website. So in the Team Explorer, sorry, first I have to commit. So right click, source control, and commit. And I will say that I integrated the user UI template. I commit this thing. And I push this thing. So with sync. And now everything we did today will be there available. Okay, so this is it. Next session we are going to let me change views here. So next session we're going to fix the Docker. There is a problem with the Docker. It's not running. As you saw, it fails while running. I don't know what happened. It's the first time it happened with me in all my tests. So I have to put Docker back to work. And I also have to fix the Docker file path in a way that the build will stop failing. And those two things will be ready for tomorrow, which is our next session. Okay, and tomorrow we also implement the changes to the template so it fits, it matches the way the user wants it. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this session so far. I'm doing my best here, so bear with me. Thank you for being with me, my few viewers. If you have suggestions, if you have anything to ask me, just drop a line. Okay, I thank you a lot. Please consider subscribe if you are not, because that's the way you help us. Okay, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye bye. Have a nice time.